The following presentation is best experienced with headphones.
Hello, honored guests, and welcome. Please follow me to the observatory. Things have been exciting around here lately. World premieres, musicals, challenges, and new seals. After everything that happened with the Traveler, Grandmaster Emrys and Lady Morgana have been traversing the realms night and day to make sure that no lasting damage has been done to any of the stories. Grandmaster Emrys only just returned, and he looked absolutely exhausted. Lana went to check on him, and she is...
Just coming back now, Nemo.
How is he?
He's exhausted himself to the bone, diving so deeply into the story realms. But I gave him a sleeping tonic, and he's resting. He will be all right once he gets some sleep.
Thank you for taking care of him.
Oh, it's the least I can do.
Ah, we're here. Lana, honored guests. I leave you with the circle.
Hello, honored guests, and Lana too. I am glad you could join us.
How is the Grandmaster?
He's resting, but he'll be fine.
Grandmaster Emrys is exhausted, and Lady Morgana is still off checking on the realms to make sure I didn't damage anything. I didn't mean to cause so much trouble for everyone.
They know that, and I'm sure they don't hold it against you. Plus, I'm sure that this isn't the first time something like this has happened.
Surely not. People mess around in the story realms all the time. They are resilient, and have a way of bouncing back to their proper shape given time.
Ah, there, see? At least one of the realms must be all right, because the fire has called a story from it.
I do believe I see a crackle of a story on those flames.
The fire burns bright, with stories ever knowing.
Ah, good. We are back to our old friend once more.
I hope we see the end of his many trials today.
I think you will be pleased, Lana, as we have reached the final chapter of Homer's epic.
The Odyssey.
I'm so excited to see how everything turns out. Hold tight, my guests, and we're off to Ithaca.
Odysseus had finally returned home.
Euryclea, mistress to Odysseus's wife, Penelope, climbed up to an upstairs room laughing to herself.
So she could tell her mistress that Odysseus, her dear husband, was in the house.
Her knees moved swiftly as her feet hurried on. She stood beside her lady's head and spoke to her.
Wake up now, Penelope, my dear child, so you yourself can see with your own eyes what you've been wanting each and every day.
Odysseus has arrived.
He may be late, but he's back in the house, and he's just killed those haughty suitors who upset this house, used up his goods, and victimized his son.
Wise Penelope then answered her.
Dear nurse, the gods have made you mad. They can do that. Turn even someone really sensible into a fool and bring a feeble mind to a path of full understanding. They've injured you. Your mind was sound before.
No, Penelope. What I say is the truth.
Why mock me when my heart is full of grief? Telling this mad tale, rousing me from sleep, a sweet sleep binding me, shrouding my eyes. I've not had a sleep like that since Odysseus went off to look at the wicked Ilion, a place whose name no one should ever speak.
Come now.
No, you come now. Go back down to the hall. If another of the people that live in this house had come to tell me this, woken me up when I was sleeping, I'd have sent them back at once to their quarters in disgrace. But I'll be good to you because you are a dear friend.
But I'm not making fun of you, dear child. It's true. Odysseus has returned. He's back here in the house, exactly as I said. He's that stranger all the men dishonored in the hall. For some time, Telemachus knew he was at home, but he was careful to hide his father's plans until the time he could pay back those overbearing men for their brutality.
Oh, what happy news! What happy days!
Penelope jumped up out of bed and hugged her dear friend, tears falling from her eyelids, and spoke. Her words had wings.
Come now, dear nurse, tell the truth. If he's truly here, back home as you maintain, then how could he turn his hands against those shameless suitors? He was alone, and in this house those men are always in a group.
I didn't see or hear about it. I only heard the groans of the men being killed. We sat in a corner, terrified. Close-fitting doors kept us in there until Telemachus, your son, called me from the room. His father had sent him there to ask me to appear. I found Odysseus standing with the bodies, dead men on the hard earth all around him, heaped up together, a heart-warming sight. And he was there, covered with blood, just like a lion.
And he wasn't hurt?
Not Odysseus, but all those bodies have been piled up beside the courtyard gates, and he's purging his fair home with sulfur. He's kindled a great fire. He sent me out to summon you. Now, come along with me so you two can be happy in your hearts. You've been through so much misfortune, and now what you've been looking forward to so long has finally happened.
Yes, let us take leave.
He's come himself, Penelope, to his own hearth while still alive. He's found you and your son inside these walls and taken revenge on all the suitors in his home, whose actions have inflicted so much harm.
Dear nurse, don't laugh at them and boast too much. You know how his appearance in the hall would please everyone, especially me and the dear son born to the two of us. But this story can't be true, not the way you've told it.
You don't believe me?
Well, one of the immortal gods surely has killed the noble suitors out of rage at their heart-rending pride and shameless deeds. They did not honor any man on earth, bad or good, when he came into their group. They've met disaster through their own foolishness. But in some place far away, Odysseus has given up his journey to Achaea, and he himself is lost.
My child, what words have slipped the barrier of your teeth? When you declared your husband won't get home, he's in the house, at his own hearth. Your heart just has no trust. But come on, I will tell you something else. It's clear proof. That scar from a white-tusked boar that he got years ago. Well, I saw it. I washed it clean.
You're sure?
Come with me. If I've deceived you, then you can kill me and choose a painful death.
Dear nurse, you find it hard to grasp the plans of the eternal gods, even though you're truly shrewd. But let's go to my son, so I can see the suitors now they're all dead, and the man who killed them.
Penelope went down from the upper room, with her heart preoccupied with many things.
She thought to herself,
should I keep my distance and ask my dear husband questions? Or should I go up to him, hold his head and hands and kiss them?
Crossing the stone threshold, she went in and sat down by the fire opposite Odysseus beside the further wall.
He was just sitting there by a tall pillar, looking at the ground, waiting to find out if his noble wife would speak to him when she saw him with her own eyes.
But I sat down and stayed silent a long time, with wonder in my heart.
Sometimes her eyes looked straight at him, full in the face, but at other times she failed to recognize him. He had such shabby clothing covering his limbs.
Telemachus spoke up, addressing a rebuke directly at her.
Mother, you're a cruel woman with an unfeeling heart. Why turn aside from my father in this way? Why not sit over there close to him? Ask him questions. No, other woman's heart would be so hard to make her this distant from a husband who's come home to her in this land in the 20th year, after surviving so many harsh ordeals? That heart of yours is always harder than stone.
My child, inside my chest my heart is quite amazed. I cannot speak or ask questions or look him in the eye. If indeed it's true he is Odysseus and is home again, surely the two of us have more certain ways to know each other. We have signs only we two understand, and other people will not recognize.
As she spoke, Lord Odysseus, who had borne so much, smiled and immediately spoke to Telemachus. His words had wings.
Telemachus, let your mother test me in these halls. She will soon possess more certain knowledge. But we also need to think how this matter can best resolve itself. Anyone who murders just one person in the district, even when the dead man does not have many to avenge his death, goes into exile, leaving his relatives and his native land. But we have slaughtered the city's main defense, the best by far of the young men in Ithaca. I think you should consider what that act could mean.
Surely you must look into this yourself, dear father. For among all men they say your planning is the best. Of mortal men, no one can rival you. And as for us, we're keen to follow you. And I don't think we'll lack the bravery to match our strength.
All right. I'll say what seems to me the best. First of all, take a bath. Put tunics on. Next, we'll let the minstrel with his clear-toned lyre lead us in playful dancing, so anyone who hears us from outside, someone walking along the road or those who live close by, will say it is a wedding.
And why do that?
In that way, the wide rumor of the suitor's murder will not spread too soon down in the city before we go to our forest lands. Then later on, we'll think of our next move, whatever the Olympian god suggests.
They listened eagerly to what Odysseus said, and were persuaded. So, to start with, Odysseus washed up, put on tunics, and the whole hall dressed in finer clothes.
Then the godlike singer picked up his hollow lyre and encouraged their desire for beautiful songs and noble dancing.
The whole great house resounded to the sounds of people enjoying a celebration, wearing lovely gowns.
So anyone who listened in as they walked past outside the house might offer a remark like this.
It seems that someone has married the queen with all those suitors, a heartless woman. She lacked the courage to keep her wedded husband's home intact and persevere till he arrives back home.
Someone might have said these words in ignorance of what was going on.
Meanwhile, Athena poured beauty on Odysseus.
My abundance has made him taller and more robust to look at. Then on his head I transformed his hair, so it flowed in curls like fresh hyacinths in bloom. I poured grace onto his head and shoulders, and made him look like the immortal gods.
Odysseus settled back in the chair where he'd been sitting, opposite his wife, and said to her,
Strange lady, to you those who live on Mount Olympus have given, more than to any other wives, an unfeeling heart. No other woman would harden herself and keep her distance if her husband, in the 20th year, came back to her in his own land after going through so much misfortune. So now, I will lay out a room for myself so I can be alone. The heart inside you must be made of iron.
Strange man, I am not making too much of myself or ignoring you. Nor is it the case that you've offended me in any way. I understand the sort of man you were when you left Ithaca in your long old ship. So come, we'll set up for you a well-built bedroom with that strong bed you made yourself.
Penelope said these words to test her husband, but Odysseus, upset at his true-hearted wife, replied and said,
Woman, those words you uttered are very painful. Who's shifted my bed to somewhere else? That would be difficult even for someone truly skilled, unless a god came down in person. For he could, if he so wished, set it elsewhere with ease. But among men there is no one living, no matter how much energy he has, who would find it easy to shift that bed. For built into the well-constructed bedstead is a great symbol which I made myself with no one else.
Tell me about it.
A long-leaved olive bush was growing in the yard. It was in bloom and flourishing. It looked like a pillar. I built my bedroom round this olive bush till I had finished it with well-set stones. I put a fine roof on it and added closely fitted jointed doors. After that I cut back the foliage, removing the branches from the long-leaved olive bush. I trimmed the trunk off, upward from the root, cutting it skillfully and true with bronze, so it followed a straight line. Once I'd made the bedpost, with an auger I bored out the entire piece. That was how I started. Then I carved out my bed till I was done. In it I set an inlay made of gold, silver, and ivory, and across it I stretched a bright purple thong of oxhide. And that's the symbol I described for you. Lady, I don't know if that bed of mine is still in place, or if some other man has cut that olive tree down at its base and set the bed up in a different spot.
Odysseus spoke, and sitting there, Penelope felt a weakness in her knees, and her heart grew soft.
For she recognized that it was true, that symbol Odysseus had described to her. Eyes full of tears, she ran across to him, threw her arms around his neck, kissed his head, and said,
Don't be angry, Odysseus. Not with me. Now's not the time to rage at me, resenting what I've done because I did not welcome you this way when I first saw you. But in my dear chest, my heart was always fearful, just in case some other man would come here and trick me with his stories. For there are many men who dream up wicked schemes.
Ha! May they try. But you, Penelope, are the clever one.
Now, you have described that clear symbol, our bed, which no one else has ever seen other than the two of us. You've won my heart, though it's been truly stubborn.
Penelope spoke and stirred in him an even more intense desire to weep. As he held his loyal and loving wife, he shed tears.
Penelope simply could not stop her arms holding Odysseus around his neck.
And then rose-fingered early dawn would have appeared with both of them still weeping there, if goddess Athena, with the glittering eyes, had not come up with something else.
For I prolonged the lengthy night as it came to an end, keeping dawn and her golden throne delayed at ocean's stream. I would not let the goddess harness her swift horses, who carry her light to the people, Lampros and Phaeton, the colts who bring on dawn.
Resourceful Odysseus then said to his wife,
Lady, we've not yet come to the end of all our trials. Countless tasks must still be carried out in days to come. Plenty of hard work I have to finish. That's what the spirit of Tiresias prophesied to me when I descended to the home of Hades to ask questions concerning our return, my companions and myself. But come, wife, let's go to sleep and finally rest.
You'll have a bed whenever your heart desires, for the gods have seen to it that you've returned back here to your own well-built home and homeland. But since you have thought of it, and some god has set it in your heart, come and tell me of this trial. For I think I'll hear of it in the future, so to learn of it right now won't make things any worse.
Strange lady, why urge me so eagerly to tell you?
Please.
All right, I'll say it, and I'll hide nothing. But what I tell you will not please your heart. I myself get no enjoyment from it. Tiresias ordered me to journey out to many human cities, carrying in my hands a well-made oar till I reached a people who know nothing of the sea, who don't put salt on any food they eat, and have no knowledge of ships painted red or well-made oars that serve those ships as wings.
You have done that, dear one.
My death, he said, will come from the sea, a gentle passing when I am bowed down with a ripe old age, with my people prospering around me. He foretold that this is what would happen.
If it's true that gods are bringing you a more serene old age, there's hope you'll find relief from these ordeals.
They kept talking to each other in this way, The lovely lady talked of all she had to bear in her own house, dealing with that destructive group, the suitors, who, because of her, kept butchering so many cattle and draining jars of so much wine.
And Odysseus, born from Zeus, told her all the troubles he had brought on people, all the grief he had endured all on his own.
I was happy listening, and sleep did not swoop down and close my eyes until Odysseus' story had been told.
I began by telling her my tale.
How he came to the fertile land of the Lotus Eaters, and what the Cyclops did.
And how I compelled the beast to pay a penalty for the brave companions he had killed and eaten.
Then how he came to Aeolus, who welcomed him with hospitality and sent him on his way.
But that was not the destined time I was to reach my dear home soil. Instead, stormy winds once more caught up with us.
Odysseus went on to talk of Circe's devious magical skill, and how in his ship, with many oars, he had then gone down to the shadowy house of Hades to consult the spirit of Tiresias of Thebes.
And how he listened to the sirens' voices in their never-ending song, and then reached the wandering rocks.
How he reached the nymph Calypso on her island.
And how I had come to the Phaeacians, who had greatly honored me as if I were a god, and sent me in a ship to my dear homeland, after offering gifts of bronze and gold and rich supplies of clothing.
He stopped his story at that point, when sweet sleep, which eases tension in one's limbs, came over him and calmed the anxious worries he had in his heart.
Then Athena, goddess with the glittering eyes, came up with something else.
When I thought Odysseus and his wife had satisfied their hearts with sleep, I stirred up dawn, enthroned in gold, to move from ocean's stream and bring her light.
Odysseus rose and told his wife,
Lady, the two of us by now have had enough of troubles. You here lamenting my hazardous return, while in my case Zeus and the other gods kept me tied up far from my home in great distress, for all my eagerness to get back. Now that we are here, you should tend to our wealth inside the house. As for the flocks those haughty suitors stole, I'll seize many beasts and plunder on my own. Now I'm going out to check my forest lands, and there I'll see my noble father, who on my behalf has suffered so much worry. So, dear wife, since I know how intelligent you are, I'm asking you to follow my advice. Once sunrise comes, the story will be out about the suitors slaughtered in our home. So you should go now to your upstairs room and stay there. Do not visit or question anyone.
Once he said this, he put his splendid armor on around his shoulders, and summoned Telemachus, Philotius, and Eumaeus, and told them all to get weapons in their hands, ready for a fight.
They did not disobey, but dressed themselves in bronze, opened the doors, and went outside, with Odysseus in the lead.
By now, light was shining on the ground, but Athena kept their group hidden by the night, and quickly escorted them outside the city. And another adventure began.
The end. Endings always make me so sad. It's like saying goodbye to old friends. Of course, the great thing about stories is that you can always start them over. Then it's like meeting those friends for the first time all over again. Oh, but never mind me, honored guests. We've returned.
I'm glad that everything turned out well for Odysseus and Penelope.
Perhaps this story is the Scaldric Flame's way of saying that everything will turn out all right for the realms as well.
They have certainly turned out all right for us, here at the House of Branching Pass.
I'll wait to celebrate until Lemurus and Morgana are back with us, if that's all right.
You know what, Traveler? I think that's a fine idea. We should celebrate when they come back. And I mean really celebrate. Who wants to help me plan a party?
If there is one thing we Fae know how to do, it's throw a party. I would be happy to assist you, that is, if my assistance is welcome.
Of course, Mr. Forgettable. I would love to work with you.
Well, honored guests, it seems that we have party planning and preparation to do. We hope you will come back for it. But for now, it seems you must take your leave.
Yes, my friends. I do believe I see the crackle of a story on those flames. But for next time.
The fire burns low, with stories ever glowing.
Take care, honored guest. We will see you soon. To party!
Honored guests, come follow me, for you mustn't stay at our house for too long. But do come back for our party. Maybe we could even open up the ballroom again. But you must go. Stay close behind, my guests, and whatever you do, don't answer any voices you may hear on the way out. Oh, but do come back. Hearing the circle stories brings me to life.
You have been listening to The House of Branching Paths, a theatrical podcast experience brought to you by Round 2 of Productions, created by Mark Kilmer and Caroline Miller, with special guest Creighton Markovich as the voice of Odysseus, and featured artists Kimmy Kidd, Bill Blanky, April Sita, Justin Panachia Shimza, Jamie Chandler, George Dorr, Joshua Towers, and Katie Bailey, with music by Elegy. For even more content, join us on our Patreon, or for more stories like these, be sure to visit your local library. Thank you for joining us, honored guests, and remember, the fire may burn low, but the stories are ever glowing.